Hi, it's Tracy from Digging Times Past, and today I am going way off the track of metal detecting videos, and I'm going to show you a really quick video here on how to boil and peel eggs perfectly every time. I am a huge hard-boiled egg eater, and I probably go through almost 2 dozen eggs a week. So I'm going to show you this video. I'm going to make it short and sweet. We're not going to sit and watch the pot boil water, and then we're going to go from there. So hang on, and I'll be right back. Okay, so bear with me. I live in a small 100-year-old house, and there's not a lot to it. I'll give you a really quick tour. You ready? Microwave, fridge, counter space, stove. Okay, you're done. How do you like my kitchen? I know, it's old, it's small, but it works for me. So anyway, these are the things you're going to need to boil and peel 12 eggs without having problems. So I just use a cooking pot for the boiling water. I need a bowl for after the eggs are done, and a spoon. That's pretty much it. And then, of course, a stove. So let me get started, and I'll show you what we're doing here. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is fill up a pot of water that is deep enough that the eggs will be completely submerged. So one of the important things to do with eggs here is that you don't want to start your eggs in the water on a cold bath. You want to cook them hot. So you need to bring your water up to boiling first and then put your eggs in. So what I do is, based off of recommendations that I've gotten from other people, is that I take my eggs out while the water is starting to heat up so that they start getting warmed up ever so slightly to room temperature. They don't have to be at room temperature, but if you let them warm up a little bit, it can't hurt, right? So the next thing that you do, fill up the water. This is with cold water. And again, you're going to want to fill it up enough so that it is deep enough to fully submerge the eggs that you cook. So I am going to be cooking a full dozen here. So we're going to fill this bowl up pretty good. All right. So then what I'm going to do with that water is I am going to put it in my freezer. Put it in my freezer, and then I also have ice. I just have one rack of ice. I don't have an ice maker on my fridge here. So just put a tray of ice just on top like that and close the door. And you're going to need that later. So again, like I said, one of the big things is that you want to shock the eggs. So what we're doing now is we're just going to heat up the water, and then we're going to put the eggs in once the water's up to boiling. So I'll be right back. Okay, so for me, what works best is that when the water starts getting bubbly on the bottom but has not completely reached a rolling boil, that's when I start looking at putting the eggs in. By doing so, it will, if you get to a rolling boil, then the eggs are going to bounce and you have a higher likelihood that one of them is going to crack. So let me get my tripod really quick, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we got our water so that it is bubbling but not quite rolling boil, and that's what works best for me because, like I said before, if you put the eggs in when it's in a rolling boil, they tend to crack more. So I just use a slotted spoon just like this. This one holds 2 eggs, and very gently lower the eggs into the water so that they don't bounce off the bottom, just like this. And this is not a 100% foolproof method. I have cracked eggs in the past. One of the good things, though, is that because you're putting it in hot water, the outermost portions of the eggs cook immediately, and so you don't get that runny egg stuff like you do. Like if you put it into a cold water and you crack the egg, and then you get like egg seeping out of the broken shell, and you get egg all over your water, and it's just, it kind of makes a big mess. So by putting it in the hot water, at least if the egg cracks, it generally will stay within the shell still. You'll get a little bit of egg seeping out of it, but it won't be enough that it creates a problem. And you can still use the egg. It's still shaped like an egg, so if you're making deviled eggs or something like that, it'll still be totally fine to use. All right. 10 in, 2 to go. Alright, so these are the last 2. From looking at it here, it does not look like any of the eggs cracked, which is what we want. Okay. So here you go. All the eggs are in the pot. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go over to my microwave, and we are going to set a 15-minute timer and just let the eggs cook. And you don't want them on a rolling boil. You want them just under a rolling boil. So I will turn my heat down just a little bit, and you'll see the pot bubbling, but it won't get into a hardcore rolling boil, which tends to crack the shells. All right, so I'll see you back in 15 minutes when these are done. Okay, just a quick update here. I just wanted to show you how we're doing. We got about 5 minutes left on the eggs. And as you can see, just what the condition of the water is, how heavy I boil them. I don't boil them hard. Just a nice steady boil, nothing crazy. Nothing that's going to make the eggs bounce along the bottom of the pan from the force of the bubbles and everything like that. So, all right, see you in 5 minutes. Okay, so our 15 minutes is up. And so now we are going to turn the heat off, and now we're going to come over here. We're going to grab our ice cubes and our bowl of water. Again, I got to put this down. My bowl of water is a little heavy. Like this. And we're going to dump all the ice cubes into the bowl. Like such. I'm going to bring this over here, and we're just going to start putting eggs in the water. At this point, you don't need to be gentle with them because you're going to be cracking anyway. You're going to crack them anyway. So the cold water, again, is another way of shocking the eggs. The goal to peeling them without having problems where the eggs are coming apart and sticking to the shell and stuff like that is to create separation between the egg and the membrane of the shell. So that's what we're working on achieving in this little section of the project here. So we're going to take this and just set it down there for a minute. And sorry, my camera skills are sucky today. And I just kind of stir it a little bit to kind of keep the water cold. So after you let that sit there for, I don't know, a minute or so, the next thing that I do is I crack the eggs and then I put them back in the water. So I just crack them like so, and then I put them back in the water. And this is really something that has been a game changer for me as far as this goes. As far as getting that membrane to separate from the egg so that you don't have a sticky egg. Alright, I'm going to finish this up. I'll be right back. Okay, alrighty, so as you can see, all the eggs are cracked. And I'm just going to let them soak in the water for another 5 minutes. Okay, so we've let our eggs sit for 5 minutes. Once we crack them and put them back in the water. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drain some of this water, not all of it. Oops, I got it all over the counter too. Not all of it. And then we're going to crack the eggs. So as you can see, they're nice and cracked. But now you're going to see the magic of peeling these eggs. There's nothing to it. They just peel right off. Nice and perfect. I basically just give it a little bit of a squeeze. Start an edge. And go from there. And again, it's not a perfect, because you can see I kind of rushed it a little bit, so I did tear a little bit of a piece of egg off. But as long as you just take your time, they come perfectly clean and they peel really easy, as you can tell. See, I'm just peeling this right off, no problem. They come off in nice big chunks. This one's got a sticky spot too. So, you know, this one, again, like I said, it's not a perfect science, and I tend to rush. So again, I rushed this one, and I did tear that one a little bit. So, but 90% of the time, I can get a whole dozen eggs done with no tears at all, nothing sticking. I'm just rushing on those last two. I rushed them a little bit, and so I didn't make sure that I had broken through the membrane when I started taking off the shell. So I'll take my time on the rest of these, and we should not have any more problems with it sticking to the egg. So anyway, so I hope that this helped. If you need to boil some eggs for egg salad or deviled eggs, or if you just eat them a lot like I do, this is the method that I use. And like I said, I go through about 2 dozen eggs a week, so I do this all the time, and this method has always been very successful for me. I learned this method from my friend Kim, who lives next door to me. I had been one of those people that thought that you had to start the eggs in the cold water and bring it up to temperature, and then I learned that you needed to do it in the hot, but I was still having problems with the eggs sticking all the time. And then she taught me the cracking it and letting it soak in the water a little bit longer, and I've had great success ever since then. So I really appreciate her taking the time to show me how she does it. And this is the last one. This is number 12. And there we go. Last one. That one's got a little shell on it. Rinse it off in the water. And there you go. So there you go. We got 12 eggs. Whoops, there's the hole. I had 12 eggs. Couple of them, you know, like right here, a couple of them that's still stuck a little bit. But for the most part, 90% of the time, if I just take my time and get rid of the shell slowly instead of rushing because I'm making a video, they go a lot smoother, and I don't have any leftovers, or the shell doesn't stick to the egg at all. All right? Hope this was helpful. Have a great night, guys. Bye.